summertime, and the living is easy.
You all set?
Let's give it a shot.
Let's give her a whirl. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody, and welcome to the Wrap. George Ringer. I know we're on the wrong sides. Don't judge us. Don't adjust your TV sets. It's all good. I think that camera is kind of on the side of a hill, but I think it looks level enough.
Yeah, it's
for us. I mean, it should be a little bit crooked. So,
like me. So it's just kind of got a little lean-to. Little starboard list, as it were.
Well, we were just talking about the Wolves before we hit the record button, so we might as well start there. After Tuesday night's loss, the guys on ESPN said it might go 5 games. After last night's game, they all said it's only going to go 4. I think they're full of baloney, George. What do you think?
I think they're going to come back in, and the crowd's going to get them popped up. You know, and the first game, I mean, they were ahead a couple of points going into the fourth quarter, and then, and you know, and I mean, we can talk about this. Oklahoma City's just a really fine team.
They're a good team.
They got young legs, Tim. They can really run the court, and they have a legitimate superstar.
They do.
And so, you know, and the other thing is that, you know, we're pretty good in the middle, and Rudy Gobert does a nice job in the paint, but when you got 2 double men that can play the corner or shoot from anywhere in that court, hard to defend that.
So you're saying they're a matchup problem for us?
There is a matchup problem, and they're going to have to get some help. And I mean, Rudy is playing great defense when they're anywhere near the hoop, and he's playing all right there. But they're going to wind up 10, 12 points short in every game if they don't get some help defensively for the outskirts of especially Mr. Holmgren, because he's playing one hell of a fine tournament. So
there are some people out there saying that the officiating for SGA is a little one-sided. Would you agree?
You know, when that ball is going around and those great big guys are smacking the ball around and reaching and climbing and doing all the rest of that, you know, you have 10 extremely physically fit athletes out there smacking each other around, and I'm amazed that the officials can call as many as they are. That being said, somebody said the crowd doesn't come there to watch free throws, but
you do have to keep some semblance. I mean,
some semblance, and there seems to be type of thing, but and in terms of what is it? SGA.
He's Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah. Anyway,
SGA is a lot easier to say than
SGA,
all that.
and that's what they call him, Sage.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and they call him MVP too.
You know why? Because he's really good and fast.
Yeah.
On top of that, he's got a first cousin. In fact, they were raised together and are more like brothers.
Yeah.
And he's playing for the Wolves.
Yeah.
And that's Alexander Walker, or Walker Alexander, and it's just like, and they, I watched them. They were guarding each other, and you know, Walker got a foul, and he was over there complaining to that referee. And you know, Tim, a good friend or a spouse or something that you're competing against. I mean, some of the most horrific wrestling matches I've ever seen have been between 2 brothers.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
You know, it's just
absolutely.
like, you know, and so
I can attest.
Yeah, no, it just kind of goes like that, and it's just like, so the competitive nature of these 2 guys. I mean, you know, one played at Kentucky, one played at Virginia Tech. These guys have been around. They know exactly what's going on. They're polished basketball players. So. Fun to watch.
Oklahoma City set an NBA record for the widest margin of victory during a season, 12.8 points per game. Nobody's ever done that before. And they've been touting that because, well, it's a great stat. However, is that running it up against inferior opponent? Anyway, I won't say.
No, I don't know, because, I mean, how many games did they lose this year?
They only lost 14 during the regular season.
14 games.
Well, 14 during the regular season, and they lost what? Well, they had to go 7 with Denver, so they lost 17.
Anyway, if in order for the Wolves to have to come in there, Julius Randle's going to have to pick it up, and so does DiVincenzo.
They have not shot the three well,
They have
and
not
you
shot
know
the
that the
three
Wolves
well.
depend
No,
on the three
no.
highly. Rudy Gobert has been basically non-existent offensively. They even tried picking and rolling him the other day.
I noticed that, yeah.
And I was just like, It was almost like the first game was kind of a feel-out process to see how they were going to play us, and then okay, we're going to play better in game 2, and they didn't. The Wolves. I'm going to say it still goes 6 games.
Well, I think it's going to go 6 games.
The Wolves
too,
will
but-
find a way to win
Yeah.
2. Might be the only 2 that they maybe win 2 at home. We'll see what happens. Everybody's putting them for dead. This is why they're professionals, because they make adjustments, and they play Saturday, Monday, and they kind of got the prime time. I was surprised because this is 2 towns that are smaller. You don't
Yeah.
have New York City,
No.
and New York City's playing on Friday night and Sunday. I don't know, but playing on Saturday night and Memorial Day night seem to be the primary spots. That's where the Wolves ended up.
Well, I'll tell you what, right now, the New York Knicks got better of the trade this weekend.
because
Well, because Carl Anthony Towns was all over the place and played himself just a fine basketball game, and he's controlling it. And I mean, I would not have picked the New York Knicks to be in this situation anytime during this year. And there
I don't
they
think
are.
anybody would put Indiana in there either.
No.
That's why. Yeah,
I caught the tail end of the Indiana game where they shot it up with a second and a half left. It bounced, went way up into the cheap seats, and then came right down through the hoop. And that still counts 2 points. And they tied the game,
yeah.
and then they won it in overtime. So that was the most amazing thing that I'd ever seen. I had to rub my eyes to make sure I wasn't sleeping.
They had a stat on X the other day, and don't quote me on the second number of this win-loss record.
Okay.
In the playoffs over the last 50 years or whatever it is, teams that are down by 7+ points with 50 or less seconds left are 4 and 1,762.
Yeah, well,
3 of those wins are by the Indiana Pacers this postseason.
Oh, boy.
They've been down by 7 or more points with 50 or seconds or less left and have won 3 games.
that's where one starts to
That's
believe
called-
in fate.
That's called luck. That's called pulling one out of your backside. That's luck.
Well, they're going to go ram each other again tonight, and I mean, like you say, like you were talking about officiating. Sometimes this basketball game resembles a rugby scrum. They're in there smacking around and beating each other around, and every time they get anywhere near the basket, somebody's going to lie on the deck. I mean, that's
Sometimes
just
by
gonna
their
happen.
own volition,
Well,
like the Los Angeles Fakers, right? I mean,
well. Anyway, I'm going to watch the game tonight. It should be
Knicks
fun
win
to
the
watch.
series in 6 games.
I think maybe
I'm still convinced the Knicks win this
I'm
series.
telling you, Spike Lee is depending on it, and it's
You know, I think since the last time we did our show, the Wolves won their series,
Yeah.
their previous series. They looked like they were in cruise control.
They
I mean,
were.
they went into 5 games again.
Yeah.
Things were going right. You talked about Julius Randle hasn't played well the first. Well, he had a good first half the other night.
Yeah.
He was outstanding in the second round and against Golden State, of course, without Steph. And you mentioned he's going to have to step it up. He has become kind of that second heartbeat. And DiVincenzo has not shot the ball well. They shot 53s in game 1.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
And they only made 7.
No,
You realize you don't have. It's not hard to do the math on that. That's 14% for a professional basketball team.
and I'm
What the
wondering,
heck?
is Dante attempting to do too much? He's all
Yeah.
over the court. He's playing hardcore defense. He's stealing balls. He's doing, and in a basketball game, if you're playing a basketball game and you're not hitting your shots, you got to find another way of contributing. You get rebounds, you play defense, you do some of the rest of that stuff. But I think sometimes it's right on the edge for Dante, and he's not concentrating on what he has to do, and that's to give Edwards some support for the scoring.
Of the first 2 games, I probably watched 3 full quarters. I'll say that. And the other night, DiVincenzo came down and he shot one from about 28 feet, and it was on a fast break type play. And I'm like, that's the best shot we can get on this possession.
Yeah, you see, that happens a lot.
I don't like those kind of shots, even when they go in. It's
if I have in transition and I get a pass that's half court and there's a guy outside the line and there's somebody else even close to that basket,
The ball should go inside.
you know, I mean, there. But even if they take the shot, at least you have somebody there for the potential rebound. So I don't mind threes in transition, but you have to hit them.
You gotta hit them.
You got to hit them.
You better make them.
Yes, you better.
Let's move over to hockey.
Hockey.
Florida. In Carolina, Eastern Conference, Florida wins both games. In
5-0. That's a blowout.
This is the defending champions, and they only look like they're getting better.
You know, and I mean, I don't know why it was that we considered all these other NHL teams and we forgot about the champions. And I just thought, you know, because they didn't have a particularly good season, but Krachek's back, and they are. I was always amazed, and I brought this up 2-3 years after first seeing them. They are really fast on the ice. Speed wins in this game, and it's just like basketball, and they can really skate.
Yeah, I probably mentioned this last summer after they won the Stanley Cup. I didn't like the way they celebrated. Too many F words at the parade and during the celebration and on TV and in the interviews. I guess if they can win it and act appropriately, I'd be okay with it. But right now, my heart is pulling for Carolina. Like, I can't believe I don't want to see Florida in there again. Like I said, I don't win with style. Don't win like you're whatever.
Well, I just managed. Not that I didn't have something else to do, to catch the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers the other day.
Series.
And Dallas is in that and won that game because of Jake Ottinger. He was coming up with some saves that nobody should be able to come up with.
He's playing
you know, and I mean, everybody knows Ottinger family around here, so this is where his roots are. In fact, I had somebody in the saloon say, he was sitting right over there, Jake Ottinger. So he's even been here to the Muni. So, but you want to see a guy. I mean, he caught a save with the backside of his stick. I'm not even sure that he knew what he was doing.
Just hoping and praying.
And that thing bounced out. So but he's a lot of fun to watch.
If I've got my stats right, Dallas has now played 15 games, and they have trailed in the first period. The other team has scored first. 12 of those 15 games.
You know, and that first goal's apparently really important.
It really is important, but apparently not to Dallas. It doesn't really matter to them because they just keep winning.
Well, when you have somebody like Ottinger in the net, you're never that far out of the game. And I mean, I have seen teams, be 2 and even 3 goals down, and they pull the goalie and score a couple. They might not tie it up, but these people can score goals and quickly.
Yeah.
And so it's and Tim, this is the best hockey that you can see right now. These guys are really, really good.
I think Edmonton, Dallas go 6. I think Carolina and Florida only go 5. I think Florida takes care of it in 5 games, especially going back to Florida. Carolina's going to have to find a way even to maybe sneak one out. But
so who are you picking in that Stars Oilers thing? You don't know. Easy to pull it up.
Well, I know who I'm pulling for.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not pulling for the Dallas Stars because, well, there's still that thing that happened 33 years ago.
Notice that green? Yeah, I always broke out with that green anyway.
Yeah.
So
Anywho. I'll be pulling for Edmonton. I think Edmonton can pull. Obviously, I know they can pull it out.
Can.
The problem with Edmonton, and it's been the problem with Edmonton for years, is they don't have a grade A goaltender, and they're trying to limp by, and they'll continue to limp by this postseason, and that's the one piece of the puzzle they need to go out and find, and we'll see if that can happen.
Many years ago, I was talking to my good friend from across the river, Joe Balls, and we were talking. It was just about this time of year, and he looked at me and he says, the Stanley Cup. That's when you see the goaltending come out, because they're the ones that actually win the game for you. And at that time, there was Jacques Plot, there was all the rest.
And then it's Dallas and Florida. We might as well just move on to the championship because Dallas has definitely got the better goaltender. I mean, if we're going to go by that philosophy, the series are done. Let's move on.
Sometimes mediocre goaltenders get lucky too.
They do. And
you got to play the game.
You wore your Twins shirt today. Why? What are you wearing that for?
Who whoever thought the Twins were going to be this good? I mean, here they are, and I mean, they were beating everybody up. And the first thing we do is we take our two best baseball players and have them crack heads in the outfield, and then I put them on concussion protocol. And what happens? The kids come out and do it, and it's I mean, it's one of those things where, wow, there's young Cody. I like that kid.
Yeah, Cody Clemens has been playing well.
I don't know who his dad was, but I tell you, he must be very proud. And this is it Baden from he used to play
Hunter.
for Hunter. Yeah, he used to. I think he played for
the Cardinals.
For the Cardinals, and my mentor down there told me all about him, and I says, what I like about this guy, he can really run the bases. That team is fast. They can steal you. I mean, they'll steal you blind, and I kind of like that. So if they're playing a little bit of small ball and a little bit of big ball, and they get, I think Korea might be back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not sure about Buxton.
Buxton is not in the lineup. Won't be in tonight.
They're a little bit. He's had concussions before, I guess.
Yes.
So they're going to take a little bit longer.
I probably not a horrible idea.
This just about covers every possible injury I've seen this guy have. And you know, what happened? Well, I banged heads with a friend of mine, but yeah, it's one of those things.
The Twins are playing well. They've had some young players step up that we didn't, coming out of spring training, didn't think would probably happen or possibly happen. They've done that. You've got about the same notes written, 27 and 22. They're basically tied for second with Cleveland and Kansas City, virtual tie. They're not the same in the win-loss column with both of those teams, but Detroit 33 and 18, they're playing out of their minds.
You know they are, and so this is what happens.
Not that we were surprised.
I get the scores last night, and Cleveland just knocked off. 7-0, just beat the heck out of Detroit, and you're thinking around. Yeah, go after him. 2 days ago, hit those guys, you know. But I'll tell you one thing about that division: it's a dandy, and with the exception of the Sox and who knows what they might pull out before the end of the year, but that is really a great division. So we'll see what happens.
The Twins did put together a 13-game win streak in our interim. I mean, I think when we last talked, it was 6 or 7 games. It got to 13.
So they got 14 out of the last 15, or 14 out of the last 16, which is not bad.
Which is 875 baseball, and if you're playing 875, you're really playing pretty. Yeah.
You're really playing pretty good. And like I say, I never knew who half these ball players were at the beginning of the year, and they come in and they're they had a young superstar broke his arm, so we're not sure when he's going to come back, but he'll probably be back before the end of the year, and it's
I'm hoping definitely by the All-Star break. I'm hoping,
probably.
So. No, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
The pitching. I think the pitching's been good.
Well, that's it. You know, Joe Ryan's going out there. Boy, is he throwing stuff. And Ober as well. I mean, these guys, you know.
This is what we were expecting the pitching staff to be like, not like they were in April. And that's
pitching. You know, I got to tell you, I was looking over my Facebook thing, and they says, "Do you want to see what 98-mile-an-hour fastball looks like?" And they have a camera right behind the catcher, and this guy is throwing 98 miles an hour. It's a dot, and it's not so much that you can't see it, you can, but whether you can get your arms around quick enough to hit something, that's a totally different matter. But you look at that and you just think, and these guys have 97, 98, 100, 101, even 102 miles an hour.
Crazy.
It's just insane. So
in that 13-game winning streak, they also had a 32-inning scoreless streak.
They did.
Which tells you how good the pitching's been. So, keep doing it, Twins. Let's see what happens.
We'll see.
Big Ten baseball tournament's been going on. I got to watch about an inning and a half the other day during lunch. I appreciated the heck out of that. Right now it's down to UCLA and Iowa on one half of the bracket, Penn State and either Washington or USC. We haven't talked about much Big Ten baseball. But the tournament starts. The NCAA tournament starts next week. The road to Omaha starts next week, and so it's time to start looking at the Tennessees and the Bamas and all those Floridas and those teams.
Well, I thought about you the other day because I was looking at the Big Ten track championships. You never guess where they're being held.
in Oregon, I saw that.
Did Eugene get to hold every track meet?
Well, I wouldn't want to hold the track meet anyplace else other than there if I had a choice.
No, it's a beautiful place, and the kids were really having a good time.
And the Gophers won the 4x100
They did.
with the fastest time ever by a Gopher 4x100 team.
Well, you see, this is one of the things where, what was the coach said? We take our strength from and our size from Minnesota, but our arms and legs have to come somewhere else.
Yeah,
Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
And you know,
he's right.
He is, but we're getting faster.
We are.
I was looking at some times in the Minneapolis paper today, and there were some zingers down there in that Minnesota Valley. You know, a guy from Chanhassen's really, really good. They have also the top 4x100 relay team, and you're just looking at these times, and it's getting better. It's getting better. Nothing the matter
Absolutely.
with that.
Softball regionals going through.
We're on TV, but just say hi.
Oh.
Good.
Come on. There you go. Softball regionals, they're down to their last 16 already. The Women's College World Series will start next Thursday, a week from yesterday. So the regionals are going on. The big story last weekend, the #1 team in the nation goes down at home. They've been I don't want to say they got gifted because they beat Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 tournament and blah blah blah, that would have been in the SEC anyway. SEC, I apologize.
Yeah.
Gotta get those new conferences. Anyway, the first #1 team to lose since they went to this format in 2005. Liberty comes through and takes down the #1 seed, and so that kind of put everybody on Liberty. Yeah. So Nebraska is through. They were unseeded. They came through their bracket. Oregon was number 16. They're playing Liberty. They came through, and so did number 9 UCLA. So out of the last 16, 3 of the teams are from the Big Ten. Most of them are from the SEC. So anyway, it was. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it, but I like watching softball because it moves so quickly.
Well, you know, and I tell you what, I've been watching a little college baseball because the team that has adopted me, the Tennessee Vols, they've been playing all weekend long, and the rest of these teams in that Southeast Conference, that's a remarkable sports, conference, and it's just like lots of baseball talent on there. So I'm pulling for the Vols, but they were having a hard time with Vanderbilt the other day, and I think Mississippi State and Alabama. So there's work to be done for those guys.
I told Eli the other day, I said, we're going to go to Omaha someday, not this year, but I said we need to make a plan to go to Omaha and go watch 2 or 3 days. We don't have to stay for the whole 10 days. Let's go down and let's go watch 6-8 baseball games, and let's enjoy the heat in Omaha, and maybe go.
Omaha, that's your country.
There we go. Yeah. So anyway, the softball's been good. Of course, the lacrosse championships, I have paying no attention, but the lacrosse championships are this weekend as well. Memorial Day is always the championship game.
You talking college or high school?
College,
okay, because the high school
is getting ready to ramp up for the playoffs as well.
Oh, hey, and I mean, well, I don't know. Do you want to go to the high school thing or wait till
Sure, we can go to the high school thing.
I know you've been really busy, so we've got local golf results and track results, and
yesterday was a big day.
Yesterday was a big day.
So the softball team had a chance to go down to Esco twice this week to watch them play in the playoffs, and on Tuesday it was 41 to 43 degrees approximately, and the wind was blowing that fast, 40 miles an hour.
Fun.
It was the most miserable conditions to play in. Our girls had to play 2 games. They won the first one. They beat Mora. God bless them. George, and this is not, I've been telling this story to everybody, and I'll tell it here to you people as well. Josh Koenig and I were sitting up in the football press box at Esco watching the game to stay out of the wind because it was merciless. And there was a ball that the girl hit right-handed batter to left field, and the wind was blowing straight in from left field, just about straight in. And when she hit the ball, in my mind said, that ball has a chance, though just the crack of the bat, that ball has a chance to go to the fence or maybe over the fence. The left fielder caught the ball on the edge of the grass.
The wind picked it up.
The wind hit that ball, and that ball just went and actually started coming back towards the infield. It was an incredible day. It was awful to play in. The girls went 1-1, and then they lost yesterday in a 4-3 game to Mesabi East. So girls softball season's come to an end.
They had a pretty good season.
Yeah, they were 9-11 during the regular season, so
Yeah.
they'll end up 10-13, I believe, is with the one. They went 1-2 in the playoffs. Little Fork won a game, made it into the second round, so they basically had the same fate as the Broncos. So the softball seasons for the high school are done. Also had a chance to run down and watch a little track and field yesterday at Mesabi East.
Okay.
Thank God the fires have decided to slow down with the weather. You could smell a little smoke every once in a while, but for the most part, it was a glorious day. Kids did about what was expected. So both coaches are happy. The section meet is on Wednesday at UMD. So if anybody's wondering where I'll be on Wednesday, you can find me in Duluth, unless something god awful happens between here and there. So looking one of the best days of the year is going to the section track.
Yes, they are. We went a couple years ago, and it was about 100 degrees, and I almost died. But this year, who's to say? You can have a snowball fight.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's Duluth, after all.
It's Duluth. You just don't know. So,
Yeah.
so looking forward to that. The golfers had their IRC East Range Conference Championship yesterday in Two Harbors. They have their section meet coming up at the Quarry. Girls Tuesday, boys Wednesday, boys and girls final on Thursday. So there that goes.
Now, just as a question, I don't know if people know that. Where do they practice?
They go over to Canada and
Okay.
play at Heron Landing.
Okay, so they can have regular practice over there.
Yeah, they go and hit driving range and then
Okay.
play a few holes. They don't
Okay.
usually play. Well, you don't have enough time after you
No.
go to the driving range. You don't have time, so you go out and hit a few shots. And I would say over the last 3 weeks they've been either playing out of town most days. They've been pretty busy. Some people might say they've been too busy, but
Yeah, well,
and then the baseball team ended the regular season yesterday. It looks like if Will Avi has done the math correctly, and you know he's a math teacher, so he likes to do the math correctly, he has ascertained that we'll be the 14 seed and that we will play number 3 Proctor on Tuesday at 2 o'clock down there. So we'll know for sure on Saturday morning. It's Friday afternoon right now. We'll know Saturday morning where the boys are going to be playing, and they've got to win that first round game to get into the double elimination part of it, just like the girls tournament. So that's pretty much where we are. High school sports wise, it's winding down. I'm looking forward to it. There were some just surprising scores if you're watching it. And you know, high school baseball, a lot of it all depends upon who you pitch
Sure it does.
against the team. Esco got beat by Southridge. Esco is one of the top teams in 2A. Southridge could be one of the best teams in the state of Minnesota in Class A, so maybe not a big surprise there, but a 3-2 ball game. Just some weird games. So top teams always got to be on their best behavior.
That's why they play the game.
That's why they
and
play
there
the
are
game.
upsets every day in this world.
There is.
Yeah.
Number 1 Greenway in the 7-2A softball lost, and number 2 Esco all lost yesterday. Now they got to work their way back through the losers bracket and try to find a way to get home on that. But as a top seed, you like to have that shorter road. But apparently Rush City's got a heck of a pitcher.
Yeah, well,
And she's only a sophomore.
I was looking at this is 2A, right? Yeah,
2A.
yeah. And I was looking at they had it all lined up there, and Rush City was one of the top teams, so that would be the reason why.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Loons, they've been busy.
Loons, they've been
playing
busy.
Wednesday, Saturday. They beat St. Louis Wednesday night to advance in the U.S. Open Cup, which only will add more games to their schedule, which I don't think is a bad thing because they've got some guys who need some work. They're 7-4-3. They play at Austin tomorrow night, and then next Wednesday they play number 1 Vancouver. So that will be. We'll find out. They didn't play very well against Vancouver the last time they played, so this is a chance for a little bit of redemption.
Yeah, that was the airplane that went over us.
Thank God they didn't have to drop any water on us or anything.
No.
What do you got left on that
On
piece of
this
paper.
one, hey, the NFL met.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they says that they're still going to allow the push-cush.
I don't like it.
Well, I don't either, but somebody said Philadelphia had a lot to say about the outcome of the decision, and it was wound up being like, I don't know, 22-16 or something.
And then the 22-10, and then they cried that the NFL was trying to hurt their poor Jeff Lurie. I feel so bad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just
sorry.
Anyway, they also decided that maybe they're going to let some of their athletes play in flag football so they can play in the Olympic Games.
I'm not a fan of that either.
No, are you kidding? You mean if you have a 13 or 14 million dollar athlete down there and he says, I'm going to go play football in the summer, you might have a problem with that?
Okay, so think about, they're going to do this in LA, right?
Yeah.
The Summer Olympics in LA in 2028 are going to start about July 20th.
Right, smack dab in the middle. Yeah.
July 22nd. What starts usually about July 28th? Camp. So now you're going to have these guys that playing flag football and then right into, I don't know.
And there's going to be a ton of rules, like no two guys from because I mean, what are you going to have? You're going to have guys that can throw the ball and guys that can catch the ball, and I imagine some scat back somewhere along the line that, I don't know.
I'm all for winning. I'm all for us winning gold medals, but we probably could do it with non-NFL players.
Well,
that's just Tim.
I was just. Anyway, it just came up, and I just thought, "Are you kidding me?" Now I want to just take a moment and I talk about a game that I saw the other night, and that was between Dallas and our Minnesota Lynx.
Paige Beckers.
Is that who was playing there? Let me tell you.
Is that why the place was full?
The place had 12,776 fans.
That was the occasion.
And they, so they go about it. Chip Scoggins was on a podcast today, and he said he first ran into Paige when she was 8th grade, and she was working out in a not a gym like a Y or something. And Coach Reeves was there, and they were working together. And so somebody asked Reeves, "Do you remember this little girl that you worked with?" And she says, "I do." And he says, "Well, do you know that was Paige Beckers?" I did not. So, and then the other story that he told when Paige was in high school, and I think I had heard this once before, and you probably too. She couldn't take the bus with the team because at the end of the game, she sat in the gym, home or away, and took all autographs. And she said sometimes it would last even as long as 2 hours, and she would sit there and sign autographs for all those kids. At the end of the game, everybody was leaving out the locker room, and there was Paige in the center court, completely surrounded by kids.
She's a person.
I'm just saying, she really truly is. This lady is no phony. She is, she's going to give you everything and do it true. I mean, if anybody in Minnesota has to be proud of what this basketball program has produced, Paige Beckers will do it for me. She is one remarkable woman, and good luck in her career. Now she
needs to be more assertive on the floor.
Well, she ran.
Gino Oriama said this when she was at Connecticut. She needs to be a little bit more selfish. I watched a little bit of the game the other night. Now the Lynx are 3-0, right?
Well, they don't have Nafisa Collier, and Lynx do.
Yeah,
she was the most dominating person on the court, and
But remember, the Dallas, who Paige plays for, got the #1 pick for a reason. They weren't very good last year.
Good last year.
So the Lynx have beat Dallas twice. Once in Dallas, once in Minneapolis, and they also beat Los Angeles along the way. So I'll just say that they haven't played the big dogs of the WNBA, but you got to win them all, right?
You got to win them all, and they played well last year. Collier the other night scored 28 points. She was 9 for 13, 12 for 12 from the line, and 11 rebounds. I mean. And she had a couple of assists.
The only shot I saw her take, she missed horribly. I mean, horribly. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Well,
anyway,
keep in mind, she missed 3 more like that. But other than that, she nailed them all. But she has such an attraction for the ball, and knows what to do with him when she's there.
She's long and she can shoot. And
Yeah.
she's a tough person to defend.
She is a very
really is.
tough person to defend. So, and Paige had 12 points. She went 3 for 11 for 12, 4 for 6 from the line, and she had some rebounds. And I think she had 3 or 4 assists as well. So she's going to pick it up. It's only her second game, but I'll tell you what, that WNBA has improved so much in the last
Well, it was
5,
nice
6
to see
years.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese get into it again, right? And
Well, they love each other. They love each other.
wow.
Yeah.
Does that cause the controversy?
You know,
Holy
you got to
buckets.
say, fight nice, ladies.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff.
How about the Frost
The Frost.
against the Charge?
A minute and a second and a half, or 1-6, and they slash her in the hole, and tie it up and win it in overtime. It's Ottawa was looked at. I mean, they had pretty much control of the game, from what I understand. I watched the better part of the third period, and they had looked like they were in control. And oh boy, you have to play every second of those games, Tim.
Well, that's how close these teams are. Both
Yeah.
games go to overtime. Ottawa wins the first one. Minnesota wins the second one. Coming back to the X. Get to play the next 2 there. Best of 5. I'm gonna say it doesn't go back to Ottawa.
It doesn't go back to Ottawa.
Does not go back to Ottawa.
I
And
agree.
even if it does, it doesn't matter.
No, they're going to get you that the Frost. And I said last year too, they were a team of fate. No, I wasn't that crazy about how they canned their coach and everything like that. But that this is professional sports. It's run from somebody from the outside. It might appear to be cruel, but maybe it's not. So it's a strange situation, but you love it. And these women, they spend their time in the weight room. I'm telling you that right now. They come walking out like, these aren't the kind of women that you'd want to push around because it wouldn't work out.
I was wondering where you were gonna go with that,
No
so.
harmonious result.
So.
Tough.
Yeah, World Hockey Championships going on. The USA did make the quarterfinals. Those are taking place. So, again, one of those things. It's over in Europe, so it's going on during the day.
Yeah.
So, don't get to watch a whole bunch of it, but sure wish I had the opportunity to
Well,
watch.
I forgot about it, but the other game the other morning started at 5 o'clock, and it's
That's a little before your rise.
well, I'm just not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Let's get up and watch a hockey game. This isn't like the America's Cup or anything.
What else you got? Anything?
That might pretty much do it for me.
Jim Irsay passed away.
Yes,
The owner of the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, and
Kind of surprisingly, no, I didn't get a chance to read a story. I don't think he was sick, was he?
it shocked me because he's 4 years younger. So that's kind of what But you know what that guy did? He hired one man to lay the foundation, and that was Tony Dungy. And after that, he brought in top quality control with Manning and the rest. But I always contended, and I was really kind of surprised because Tony is so underspoken and all the rest of this stuff. Is that he would even get that job? He looked like be the world's greatest assistant forever. Well, no, he's in the Hall of Fame because he was a good coach. And I remember him playing quarterback for the Gophers, and there was nobody. I was going to school there at the time. There was nobody that didn't like Tony. He's just that nice a guy. That was the way it was. So yeah, well, it's sorry to say, but I'll tell you what, the Baltimore Colts and the spirit of Johnny U will still keep that program going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so. How about you?
No, that's everything that I put down on the old sheet of paper. Well, happy Memorial Day, everybody. Thanks to our vets and
Yes.
everybody who gave sacrifice. Of course, it's always a tradition to go to the cemeteries on Monday, see family, but also pay our respects to those who...
Yeah, I think on
keep us
Saturday,
free.
generally there is at least they used to, but the VFW had a ceremony on Saturdays at the start of the weekend. I was just really kind of surprised because, what is it? It's so early in the month, and all of a sudden you were at Memorial Day, and that's that's because.
I think it's the earliest that it can be, just about. If I maybe one day earlier, I guess.
Just
Now that I
about.
think about it, if I do the math. So no, it's crazy. Even my daughter, who turned 31 yesterday, gosh almighty. Anyway, she said, I didn't even realize it was Memorial Day weekend. She said, usually it's a weekend after my birthday, and she's on the 22nd. So, yeah, craziness.
It is.
So, all right, everybody, we'll see you. I think the next time we'll talk to you could be really, really, really close to June. Next Friday, maybe. We'll try to fit a show in. It'll be real close to June. Thanks.